This video is to document the installation and setup of an LG Washtower laundry center. This is the heat pump ventless dryer model, WKHC202HBA. The star is a wild card. This is the B model for the color. Home Depot did the installation and made several profound errors that need to be corrected. So this is an instructional video for the future. A lot of people don't understand how to set up a ventless dryer. There's no venting to outside or to inside. The same air is being recirculated in the dryer using a dehumidifier that slightly warms the air and takes the moisture out of it. There is no basin for that moisture. It needs to be drained, and the installer did not install the drain, didn't know how, didn't comprehend the concept. And if operated the way that he left it, it will just cause a flood on the floor and possible damage to the unit. So we're going to do a proper installation. Not to ding the installer, he seemed like a nice enough fellow. He just wasn't interested in installing it the correct way, that it has to be installed. If you want to download the manual for installation and operation, here's the quick code for the link so you can get it online. There's a foam block for transport inside the base of the packaging. That block, you see at number 1 in the manual, has to be removed. So make sure that that happens, that you do it or your installer. That should be no longer in the cavity of the washing machine. It's an easy thing to miss if it stays in the washing machine when you take the base off. This unit is extremely heavy, and because of its bulkiness, it may be difficult to get up and down stairs in tight quarters. Although the washing machine must be operated in the stacked position, and that's the way it comes assembled, and it's not meant to be used side by side, you can disassemble it for transport, and the instructions are in the appendix section of the manual. It can be moved into 2 different parts. Each part moves separately, and then they can be restacked and reassembled once it's in position. As you can see here in step 5, you're going to have to unplug a few communication data buses between the washer and dryer unit, and it's going to take a little bit of unbolting and rebolting, but it's really not too onerous. Anyone can do this. We're looking at the top of the unit at a level, and we're going to have it leveled from front to back and side to side. The technician did not level it. I've just leveled it, and you can see that it's pretty close. It doesn't have to be perfect. The specs call for it to be within 1 inch either way, but it should be fairly level, as much as close as you can get it. And it should not be rocking, which it was. The leveling feet are adjusted with a 17mm wrench, such as so, and it comes with the wrench also, as you can see. It's the end one is the 17mm one. And then the feet have lock nuts on them too, so after you've leveled it you can lock them off, but the unit should be leveled. There are 4 support bolts for shipping that need to be removed before operation, and the technician did do that. You should retain these bolts for if the washer is ever moved. They should be reinstalled for transportation. Also, after removing the 4 bolts, you're going to find 4 cosmetic covers. Don't throw these away. You want these installed. It helps keep the unit quieter and helps seal the unit. So get these and clip them in properly and go and snap them in like you're supposed to. The technician installed the electrical incorrectly for the dryer. Now, It doesn't come with a dryer cord because everyone has a different plug setup. It could be 3 or 4 wire. The newer houses have 4 wire. This is the NEMA 14 4 wire. There was no strain relief. I just added this over here because there were just bare wires coming in, and that's a hazard because the wires can scratch against the surface of the sheet metal and wear through them over time as the dryer vibrates and the washer does too. So that was an unsafe setup. So now we have a strain relief cord. I'm a little bit shocked that he didn't put one in. The problem we had inside of here, and I'll pop this open for you. One moment. Okay. The default setup is for a 3-wire setup, and they had the white neutral wire over here. And so what my technician had done is he had correctly installed the 2 hot lugs on the sides, and then he had ganged together the neutral and the neutral and the ground to this lug, which was incorrect. The correct way was to take this white neutral wire that was here serving as a ground, move it over to the neutral, gang the 2 neutrals together, and take the ground wire, which was included in the 4-prong plug, and bring it over here. So now we have it correct for a 4-wire installation. The LG comes with a 3-wire setup by default, so you need to change it for the more modern 4-wire NEMA 14 setup. Also, if you lose one of these things, it drops on the floor and rolls away while you're installing it, they were thoughtful enough to have a spare over here. So you can just take it, even says spare on it, and you can do that. And in fact, there's instructions right over here, I see. So there was no reason for this to have been done incorrectly, and there was absolutely no reason for there not to be a strain relief on there. That's just shoddy installation. This heavy-duty nylon bracket ties the washer and dryer together, and it has handles for carrying. There's a 3rd handle here if you have to carry them separately. It's held on by 6 sheet metal screws. You need to remove all 6 screws to take this off to gain access to the port for the dryer drain. The port is covered with this tab that has been pre-scored, so you can just cut it out with a utility knife and remove it. It probably would have been a good idea not to have a cosmetic cover that needs to be removed anyway on the dryer for the drain, because if it had been evident to the technician, he may have used some intuition to connect it. What you're going to have to do is use a utility knife and open it up and cut it out by scoring the little pieces here, and then the whole thing will pop out, and now it's open and it's ready to install. There's your dryer drain. So now that you've opened up the cover, you're going to put a snap ring on it, feed it through the back of the nylon cover, push it in, and then put the spring on it to hold it in place. And then reinstall this cover with the sheet metal screws. When you reinstall the nylon panel that holds the washer and dryer together, covers the dryer drain hose and has the carry handles, use one of the sheet metal screws to install a strap that provides strain relief for the dryer drain hose. Here you can see that LG has obliged you with a combiner that will allow the dryer and the washer drains to go into a single drain. You could just not use it and put it into separate drains if you wanted to, but it is a nifty thing. And then you can use a couple of sundry twist ties to organize the cabling and make it a little more attractive and organized. And those are also included. I should point out that your exhaust, I mean the drain, should go into a sink or some other receptacle. It shouldn't be airtight. There shouldn't be a seal. It just sits in there and is strapped down so it doesn't pop out. It should be at least 2 feet off the floor, otherwise it'll siphon water out of the unit. And it shouldn't be more than 6 feet off the ground, because it would be hard to pump that high and you could cause backflow into the unit. I think the ideal is about 3 feet off the floor is what you're looking for. And between the proper installation now of the dryer exhaust of, well, not exhaust, but of the drain, it is ventless, there is no vent. And the electrical, I'll put that panel back on now that it's wired correctly for the 4-prong wire that has ground and neutral, I think. And now that it's leveled, we have a proper assembly ready to use.